Hey, Miles Beckler here. In this video, we're going to talk about how to split test and give you some basic rules for split testing so you can kind of start off on the right foot. You know, for me and my business, the process of split testing has really helped me do more with less. And what I mean by that is my kind of basic philosophy has been covered here with my funnels. I got multiple funnels running, and essentially I pay for traffic to look at an offer. It's a free offer in exchange for their email. And then after that, they see another offer for something paid. Check out the funnel playlist if you want more in-depth on the types of funnels that I've created and I've had success with. But here's where split testing comes in. The first try at any funnel rarely is a outstanding success. For me, it's never. I never hit a home run. I maybe hit a single. A lot of pop flies over here for an analogy for you. But essentially what it is the first funnel you put out is your starting point. And then you want to optimize that funnel. You want to work with the funnel and run A/B split tests so you can improve the conversion rate of that funnel slowly but surely. On one of my funnels, I started out at about 18 to 20% opt-in rate. That funnel now does about 50 to 60% opt-in rate. So what that means is I'm actually getting twice as many subscribers for the exact same ad spend, which means I'm doubling the ROI of my ad spend. I'm not spending more money to get twice as many people through my funnel. I've optimized my funnel to where I can spend the same amount of money and get twice as many people onto my email list. And that's what A/B split testing is all about. So first and foremost, A/B split testing really kind of stands for the simple style of split testing where you split test one thing. And that's the first rule in split testing. You really want to focus on one item that you're testing at a time. If it's a layout, that's it. You use the same exact copy in both instances. If you're testing a headline, the headline is the only thing you change. If you're testing your pre-head, the pre-head is the only thing you change. If you're testing your offer, the offer is the only thing you change. Use the same headline, the same sales copy, you just present a different offer. And the reason is you have to have some way to tell what is actually creating the increase or decrease in conversions. And if you're testing multiple things at the same time, you'll never know, was it this half of the test or that half of the test that actually made the difference. So it's really important to stick to one specific item at a time. So that's why it's called A/B test. You're testing one thing, one letter, A, B. There's two versions. There's your A version, your B version. There's one thing different, and you track which one gets better conversions. So the second thing is kind of a phrase I heard. It's test what screams, not what whispers. You know, people have used the example of button color for a long time in split testing. Like, oh yeah, page 1, you've got a pink button. Page 2, you have a green button. That is a terrible split test. You do not want to test button colors. That's something that's whispering. The color of the button is not going to have a big enough psychological effect on your user to get them to take action or not. Your headline, on the other hand, is everything. If your headline doesn't punch them in the head and make them think, oh my God, I'm so curious, I'm so enthralled by what this is, I have to have it, it doesn't matter if the button color is right. It's more about the big things on the page. So what are those big things? The headline is definitely number 1. The offer is number 2. You could try like an ebook for free versus a video for free and see which ones of those works. It can be pretty much the exact same content and you want the same headline and the same sales content, but literally you're just giving away a video instead of an MP3. On the sales side, it's very clear what testing a different offer is. You could do an ebook or a video course series or any number of different deliverables on a product in order to see which product is more kind of compelling to your audience. The sales copy itself. So I always start with a headline as my first split test. The offer is another big split test. But once I get those working in a way that I think, wow, my audience is really receptive to my headline and my offer, you can work with the sales copy. And you want to go in small chunks. And this is really best on your opt-in pages because you shouldn't have much sales copy. This could be the subhead in many of them, or the bullet points also on many opt-in pages. But you do want to make sure that your sales copy or whatever copy in addition to the headline you have is continuing to engage the reader. Because if they're not taking action at the bottom of the page, that means you lost them somewhere in your copy, and you're going to need to do some tests to find out how to keep them engaged, get them to the bottom of the copy to test, to get them to the actual button, whether it's a buy button or an opt-in button. So testing the offer is really big. And the last one I like to test is the layout. And so essentially, once I've got kind of a good test running, I've gotten my opt-ins up to like 30-40% opt-in rate, sometimes I'll do a major test. I like to start with plain white backgrounds, black headlines, very, very simple layout. I'm a big fan of starting with less and adding on little things slowly but surely, because it's easier than cluttering your opt-in page full of a bunch of junk and then having to remove it to see why isn't this working. Oh, it's because I got a bunch of junk on here. Start with a plain white background. Just get your copy dialed. Once you have your copy dialed based on statistical tests, then you can test the layout. Then you can go ahead and try a version that has an image on the background. You could try a version that has a video on it if you want, that delivers the same message, but it's actually a video opt-in page or a video sales letter instead of a text sales letter. But again, I don't really get to that point until I've run some tests and I'm seeing a 40% plus opt-in rate or like a 2% sales conversion rate. Sometimes you want to test really big things like the layout. But again, when you do that, keep the content on the sales page or opt-in page the exact same. So you're only testing the layout so you can tell if you get a bump or a decrease, whether it worked or it didn't work. So the next kind of rule I have for you is don't declare a winner too early. I did this too much, too early. I would see the first 100 or 200 clicks come through and I'd see this one got a 22%, this one got a 40% conversion rate. I'm done, I'm going through. But that means I only had like 20 to 40 people going through my funnel, which is not enough to make a statistical kind of scientific statement that yes, this one beat the other. You know, statistics are prone to being all over the place at first, but when you have a large number of opt-ins or sales, the data gets more reliable. And a lot of people are cutting their split tests way early, and this is shooting themselves in the foot because the numbers will change. So for example, if you remember in school at all, like in high school, I realized that if I did like A+ work for the first half of the semester and built up a large volume of points in the class, I could kind of slack off at the end and it wouldn't affect my grade much because I had a large bulk of points built up. But if I was to slack off in the beginning or be hit and miss with my kind of homework assignments and my tests, then at the end, my grades would be all over the place. I could have an A from one test and then a C would drop me to a B and another C would drop me to a C. And it's because of the same kind of statistical relevance of the test. You have to have a lot of data. So what's the number I shoot for? 1,000 conversions is best. Now, if you're selling something, I know it's difficult to get 1,000 conversions, but for your opt-in pages, 500 minimum to 1,000 conversions. On your sales pages, you need to keep the tests in place till you see 100 sales through one specific funnel before you start to make decisions. And this will take thousands of visitors. And that's what we're investing in when we invest in paid traffic. We're investing in the data. Yes, we want sales. Yes, we want leads, but we love the data that says what worked and what didn't work. So that's a big part of what you're investing in. I also like to keep my tests running for at least 2 weeks. I want 2 Mondays. I want 2 Tuesdays. I want 2 Wednesdays. All the way through, right? I want 14 full days. This way, there's going to be no kind of day of the week skewing. Your campaigns may work one way on the weekend and one way during the week. So if you only run it from Thursday to Sunday, you might be getting skewed data because you haven't seen what Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday produce via results. So running a 2-week long test is a great way for you to make sure that there's no holiday in there messing with your kind of statistics. There's no varying of your data based on the days of the week because you've got a solid sample size. So if you want to break that down and work with your budgets, if you can run, if you've got like a 40% opt-in rate, then if you're able to run in the course of 2 weeks, 2,000-3,000 clicks, then you have a sufficient sample size to know what's going on and to make an educated and scientific decision on what worked on that opt-in page. And the benefit, the side result, is you have a whole lot of opt-ins as well, and you're following up with them on your email list, and you're keeping them engaged, and you're going to make sales as well. So we're not just doing it for the sales and the leads, we're also doing it for the data yet again. I like to see the 1,000 conversions, to be honest. It does take a lot, and sometimes I have to not look at my numbers for several days, but letting that run is the best way. And remember, you can do split tests at your advertisement level, and those split tests are going to be done really quickly. You'll see 1,000 clicks on a pay-per-click ad faster than you're going to see 1,000 opt-ins on your squeeze page. You'll see 1,000 opt-ins faster than you'll see 1,000 customers buying on your sales page. So what you do is you split test at every level, but when you get something that works at the ad level, on your next test on the opt-in level, take what worked and then put that inside of your opt-in page. So if it was a certain headline you ran in an ad that outpulled all of your other ad headlines, test that headline or a variation of that headline on your opt-in page and get the advertisement opt-in and the opt-in page, the advertisement headline and the opt-in page headline, get those to match and test some imagery on your ad next time. And what's going to happen is you're going to see that you can see maybe from a 2% click-through rate on your advertisement could jump up to 4%, which is a 100% increase. And then you take that same headline and you put it onto your opt-in page, and you can go from a 25 to a 35% increase, which is about a 40% increase. And you're not just getting a 140% increase at that point. You're going to literally see almost a 200% increase because those increases compound. And that's the power of what we're working with here. So I'm a huge fan of split testing. It's pretty nerdy. If you don't have a system that allows you to do it effectively, go with ClickFunnels. I just did a video yesterday on ClickFunnels for split testing, and I showed you how easy it is to set up a split test. So I'll link to that video in the description. But remember, be patient with your split tests. You want to see 1,000 visits, or you want to see 1,000 conversions, and you want to see at least 2 weeks of data before you really make any decisions. And split test at every level. Be patient with yourself and know that incremental gains equate to very, very large shifts in your business. I've really seen an incredible benefit in my business from focusing on split testing and really identifying the words that get my target market to take action, and I'm confident you will too. So I'm Miles Beckler. That's it for the basics on split testing here. Go ahead and click subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and if you have any questions about split testing at all, just leave me a comment below. I'd be happy to answer that, and thank you very much for your time.